Okay, so hello everyone. Today we are going to be looking at the EU settlement scheme, and this is a guide for employers. We would like to introduce the scheme to employers so that they feel better informed and are able to direct their employees to support services if they need them. This is a collaboration between Citizen Advice Rotherham, where I'm an immigration advisor, and the Barnsley Rotherham Chamber of Commerce. So why is it important? The UK left the EU on the 31st of January 2020. EU citizens are able to exercise EU treaty rights for free movement until the end of the transition period. If you are watching this in 2021, that transition period has now ended and we have entered the grace period. EU nationals no longer automatically have the rights to stay in the UK, they must apply to stay. So what is the EU settlement scheme? It is the government's method for ensuring that UK citizens that are choosing to remain in the UK get to have similar rights and security that they had before Brexit. It is more accessible than other routes designed for settling in the UK. Other routes are generally more restricted, often very expensive, and have strict requirements which need to be met. After 11 o'clock on the 31st of December 2020, the transition period will end and the UK will no longer have free movement rights for EU citizens. Having status through the scheme means they can continue to be eligible for public services, including the NHS and schools, public funds, benefits and pensions, and also the option for British citizenship if they choose it. I'm just going to show you a short video to introduce the scheme.
If you're an EU citizen living in the UK, you need to apply to the EU settlement scheme. This means you can continue living and working in the UK, and that the rights you currently have will be protected, including access to healthcare, benefits, and pensions. The scheme is open for applications, so apply as soon as you can, even if you already have permanent residence. You can apply to the EU settlement scheme online. And support is available if you have any questions. To find out more and apply, visit gov.uk/Brexit-EU citizens.
Okay, and you can also go to the website that is showing on the screen at the moment, gov.uk/settled status EU citizens families. So what status will they be given? When they apply, they will get one of two different statuses. If they've lived in the UK less than 5 years, they will be given pre-settled status, which is 5 years leave to remain in the UK. The term leave to remain just means that they have permission to stay, and leave to enter would be permission to enter the UK. If they've lived in the UK more than 5 years, they should get settled status. This is indefinite leave to remain and means there is no time limit on their stay. So if we consider someone who has pre-settled status, as soon as they can show they have been living in the UK 5 years, they can apply again to get settled status. They do need to apply again. It isn't granted automatically after the 5 years of leave expires. Whichever status they have, they can live, rent, own property, study, work, and access the NHS. They can also access benefits if they are eligible for them. So what about those who already have status? Some of your employees may come to you with a permanent residence document, and they may feel that they don't need to apply. These have been provided based on EU treaty rights, and those rules no longer apply once the transition period ends. Permanent residence documents become invalid at 11 o'clock on the 31st of December 2020, so they still need to apply for status. Those with indefinite leave to remain don't need to apply, but can if they want to. Standard indefinite leave to remain only allows you to be absent from the UK for 2 years. Whereas with EU settled status, you can be away from the UK for 5 years and not lose that status. If they have children or non-EU family members, applying may help their application. So who are we talking about? Who should apply? Up to this point, we've been talking about EU citizens, but the scheme actually covers more countries than just the EU. It covers all of the EEA, which is the European Economic Area. This includes the 27 EU countries, Norway, Liechtenstein, and Iceland. Switzerland isn't a part of the EEA, but for the purpose of the scheme, Swiss citizens are also able to apply. The Republic of Ireland is highlighted as they don't need to apply, but can if they want to. For the same reason as previously, it may help them if they have non-EU family members to get through the application. So when do they need to apply by? The grace period ends at 11 p.m. on the 30th of June 2021. The scheme will close for new applications after this date. To apply, they also need to have been living in the UK before 11 o'clock on the 31st of December 2020. So they need to have been in the UK before the end of the transition period. If they are unable to prove this in some way, the application may be refused. Now, an exception to this is that if someone is the close family member of an EU citizen who already has status, they can join them in the UK after the 31st of December 2020. Their relationship, be it partner, son, mother, needs to have existed before the end of that transition period. So how do they apply? The best and easiest way to apply is by using an app on a smartphone. This smartphone must have near field communication or NFC. This is the same tech that allows you to pay for goods with your phone. So if your phone has a system where you can use it as a contactless card for making payments, it is very likely that you'll be able to use the app. They can use the app if their ID or passport has a biometric chip. Using the app scans your document and you won't need to post it to the scheme for verification. This is faster, free, and removes the risk of a document getting lost in transit. Using the app doesn't store information on the phone, so multiple users can safely use the same phone to start their application. So for instance, in an employment situation, if you have a number of people who need help actually getting started with their application, you could provide a phone if they don't have one. I'm just going to show you this short presentation from the Home Office about how to actually use the app.
Hi, my name's Dan. I work for the Home Office and I'm here today to give you some tips about applying using the EU Exit ID Document Check app. Tip number 1, the app is used to complete the identity stage of your application. The rest of your application is completed on gov.uk via any smartphone, tablet or computer. Tip number 2, when using the app, please make sure you've got a steady internet connection via 3G, 4G or Wi-Fi. Tip number 3, when you open the app, the first 5 screens are for guidance only. The process hasn't started yet. Tip number 4, as part of the process, you're asked to take a picture of the photo page of your passport. You can hold your passport like a book. This makes it easier to take the image and helps avoid glare. It's really important that you get the strip of numbers and letters at the bottom of the page into your picture. Tip number 5, to scan the chip in your passport, don't hover your device over your passport. You need to place it directly on top of it. The chip is located in different places in different documents. You may need to move your device around slowly until you receive the accessing chip message. Don't worry if this takes you a couple of goes.
So how do they apply if they don't have a ID with a biometric chip? They will have to start the application directly at the gov.uk website, which is listed at the bottom of the screen. And they will need to send their ID to the Home Office to be verified. So what support is available in Rotherham? The EU Settlement Scheme Collaborative Project is being funded by Rotherham Metropolitan Borough Council, and we are working in collaboration with Clifton Learning Partnership and the Rotherham Ethnic Minority Alliance to support Rotherham residents and their families to apply. You can contact us at Citizen Advice Rotherham District by phoning 01709 515 680 or by email on euss@citizensadvicerotherham.org.uk. Please don't come to the office in person as we are currently closed to the public for drop-ins. You can contact Clifton Learning Partnership on 01709 728 169 and the Rotherham Ethnic Minority Alliance on 01709 720 744. Please feel free to signpost your employees, or even if you have questions yourself, contact any of us and we'll be happy to explain it in more detail. So just to have a think about some questions that you may be wanting to ask us regarding how the scheme is going to affect you. So do I, as an employer, have a legal obligation to promote the EU settlement scheme to my employees? No. There is no legal obligation to do so, but you probably should direct them to support if you think they will need it. It is likely in your interest to have a workforce who have secured their status in the UK, as obviously as the grace period comes to an end. That will be a very stressful time for any EU citizens that haven't secured their status. Should I be asking my EU employees to prove their status? No. Up until 11 p.m. on the 30th of June 2021, all EEA and Swiss nationals can work in the UK and only need to have a passport or national identity card to be in the UK. Can I refuse someone employment because they don't have status yet? Again, no, you shouldn't. You shouldn't be refusing an EEA national employment if they don't have status yet. You have a duty not to discriminate against an EU citizen. You cannot make an offer of employment or continued employment that is dependent on an individual having made an application or having status. This could lead to legal action against you. Should I be reminding them that they need to apply? You can remind them, but it is not your responsibility to do so. You could support them by having meetings to check their progress and offer help if they are having difficulties. You could signpost your employees who are having issues to us. For example, the earlier they secure their status, the better. They may have problems proving their rights to services if they haven't received a decision by the 30th of June 2021. How can I check they've been granted status? Well, you shouldn't be checking that your EU employees have settled status until after the 30th of June 2021. Your employees likely won't have a physical document, as standard EU nationals are not given a physical card or document to prove that they have status. When you need to ask them, they can give you a share code and you can check their status online. If an employee offers to share their status with you, that is fine. It is important that you don't request they do or make it a requirement for them to work for you. If you have a share code, you can go to www.gov.uk/view right to work to check their status. How do I know they've been given the right status? If they've been in the UK 5 years or more, they should get settled status. Less than 5 years, pre-settled status. Remember, with either status, they are allowed to work in the UK. However, if you think they've been given the wrong status, you could get them to contact us for more help. Now, very importantly, do not provide immigration advice to your employees. It is an offence to give immigration advice if you aren't registered to do so with the OISC. You can signpost them for advice only. Don't interpret advice provided by the government. The purpose of this video is to help you identify who may need help and to make you aware of the deadlines so that you understand a little more about your own obligations, not to advise your employees about the application itself. So what will happen if they don't apply by the 30th of June 2021? They will be in the UK without permission. And this is a criminal offence and they could be removed. They will no longer be able to work, study or live in the UK. And they will not be able to use the EU settlement scheme to get status. They would need to apply to stay using a different application based on work, family or private life. And this may be very expensive. Being in the UK without status will damage a person's suitability in the eyes of the Home Office and may lead to any further applications for leave to be refused. Thank you for watching. Just to remind you that if you feel that any of your employees do need support, please direct them to either Citizen Advice Rotherham District, Clifton Learning Partnership, or the Rotherham Ethnic Minority Alliance. Thank you for watching.